Commander Jessica Reynolds stood at the bridge of the EDS Valiant, her eyes fixed on the massive display showing Jupiter's swirling storms in the distance. 3 years of deep space patrol had taught her patience, but today felt different. The hair on the back of her neck stood up, a feeling she'd learned to trust during her 15 years in the Earth Defense Service. "Commander, we're picking up something strange," Lieutenant Mark Davis said from his sensor station. His fingers moved quickly across the holographic controls. 3 objects just appeared at the edge of our sensor range. "They're big, really big." Reynolds straightened her uniform. "Show me." The main screen shifted, displaying 3 massive ships, each easily 4 times the size of the Valiant. They were dark and angular, like arrowheads made of black metal. "Get me the Washington and the Liberty on comms," Reynolds ordered. The 2 other ships in her patrol group appeared as small windows on her command screen. "Captain Anderson, Captain Miller, form up on my position. Standard defense pattern." As the 3 Earth ships moved into formation, the alien vessels accelerated toward them. Reynolds felt her heart race, but her voice remained steady. "Open all communication channels. Let's see if they want to talk." Before she could broadcast a greeting, a harsh, metallic voice filled the bridge. "Primitive species detected. This system is now claimed by the Meridian Coalition. Surrender your vessels and prepare for occupation." Reynolds exchanged looks with her bridge crew. "This is Commander Jessica Reynolds of the Earth Defense Service. We welcome peaceful contact, but this system is our home. We will not surrender it." The alien response came as a bright purple beam that shot past the Valiant's bow. "Warning shot," Reynolds said calmly. "Well, at least they're polite enough for that." She pressed a button on her chair. "All ships, defensive positions. Power up shields, but do not fire unless I give the order." The alien ships spread out, trying to surround the Earth vessels. Their next shots weren't warnings. Purple energy beams sliced through space toward the human ships. What happened next would be talked about in alien war colleges for centuries to come. The beams hit the Earth ship's shields and simply vanished. No explosion, no damage, not even a flicker in the shield's strength. "Their weapons are fusion-based," Technical Officer Pete Wilson reported, almost sounding disappointed. "Pretty basic stuff. Our quantum shields are absorbing everything." Reynolds nodded. During the resource wars 20 years ago, Earth had been forced to develop advanced technology just to survive. What these aliens saw as an easy conquest was about to become a harsh lesson. "Send them one more warning," Reynolds ordered. "After that, we show them what we can do. Meridian vessels, this is your final warning. Withdraw from Earth space, or we will be forced to respond." The aliens answered with a full barrage of weapons fire. Purple beams and plasma torpedoes filled space between the ships. Reynolds sighed. "Very well. All ships, execute combat pattern Delta. Weapons free, but aim to disable, not destroy. Let's show them what humanity can do." The 3 Earth ships moved with perfect coordination. Their quantum plasma cannons powered up, glowing with a soft blue light that seemed almost peaceful compared to the harsh purple of alien weapons. "Target their engines and weapon systems only," Reynolds ordered. "Fire." Blue beams lanced out from the Earth ships. Unlike the aliens' weapons, these cut through the Meridian shields like they weren't even there. With surgical precision, the human ships disabled the alien vessels' main weapons and engines. In less than 2 minutes, the battle was over. The massive alien ships floated powerless, their weapons silent. "Open a channel," Reynolds commanded. Her voice was firm but not mocking. "Meridian vessels, your ships are disabled but your life support remains intact. We could have destroyed you, but that's not our way. Remember this moment. Earth is not defenseless, nor are we savages. We will render assistance if you require it, but you will then leave our system." The bridge was silent as they waited for a response. Finally, the same metallic voice spoke, but this time with a noticeable tremor. "We accept your terms, As Reynolds organized rescue operations, she looked out at the disabled alien ships. "Send word to Earth Defense Command," she told her communications officer. Tell them first contact didn't go quite as planned, but I don't think we'll have trouble from this group again." She knew this was just the beginning. Somewhere out there, the Meridian Coalition was about to learn that their newest target wasn't the easy conquest they'd imagined. Humanity was ready. Lieutenant Davis looked up from his station. "Think they'll be back, Commander?" Reynolds smiled slightly. "Oh, they'll be back. But next time, they'll bring friends. And when they do," she turned to look at her crew, proud and confident, "we'll be ready for them too." Admiral Thomas Walsh paced the length of Earth Defense Command's main conference room. The holographic display in the center of the table showed detailed scans of the Meridian ships from the Jupiter incident. 20 military and scientific leaders sat around the table, studying the data with intense interest. "Let's be clear about what we're seeing," Walsh said, his voice grave. "These aliens expected to roll over us like we were cavemen with sticks. Instead, they got their backsides handed to them by just 3 of our patrol ships." Intelligence Officer Mike Harrison stood up and pointed to specific parts of the alien ship designs. His gray hair and wrinkled uniform showed the long hours he'd spent analyzing the data. "Their technology is interesting," Harrison said. "They're using fusion-based weapons, something we moved past 20 years ago. It's like bringing a musket to a laser fight." The room filled with quiet murmurs. Dr. Rachel Turner, head of weapons development, cleared her throat. "During the resource wars, we had no choice but to develop better technology. When the old weapons couldn't get through the enemy shields, we created quantum plasma weapons. These aliens never had that push to improve." Walsh nodded and pressed a button. The hologram changed to show footage from the brief battle. "Look at their faces when their weapons hit our shields. You can see the shock even through their environmental suits. They'd never seen quantum shielding before." "But how is that possible?" asked Colonel Frank Miller. "They're a spacefaring race. They should be more advanced than us." Harrison pulled up more data. "Not necessarily. We developed in isolation. Earth's resource wars forced us to think differently. When countries fought over the last oil and clean water, we had to develop new energy sources. When the shields got stronger, we made better weapons. When those weapons got too destructive, we made more precise ones." The room grew quiet as everyone considered this. Humanity's darkest time had accidentally prepared them for the stars. "Show them the shield test," Walsh ordered. Dr. Turner nodded and played another recording. It showed a Meridian weapon firing at full power at an Earth shield. The purple beam simply disappeared into the blue energy field. "Their weapons are hitting our shields and being converted directly into more power for our defense systems," Turner explained. "They're basically charging our batteries for us." Several people around the table laughed. Walsh didn't. He knew what this meant for Earth's future. "They'll be back," he said firmly. "The Meridian Coalition won't take this humiliation lying down. They'll return with more ships, thinking that quantity will overcome our quality." "Let them come," Colonel Miller said. "We can handle them." "It's not that simple," Harrison cut in. He pulled up a galaxy map. "The Meridians control 30 star systems. They're used to being the strongest kid on the block. Now they've found out they're not. Their whole empire could fall apart. Desperate empires do desperate things." Walsh walked to the window. Below, he could see the sprawling complex of Earth Defense Command, its quantum shield dome shimmering slightly in the sunlight. "We need to prepare," he announced. "Not just our weapons and shields, but our people too. Humanity is about to face its biggest test since the resource wars." Dr. Turner raised her hand. "There's something else you should all see." She changed the display again, showing detailed scans of the alien ship's computer systems. "Their technology isn't just behind in weapons. Their computers, their engines, their life support, it's all decades behind ours. They don't even have proper AI assistance." "Which means," Harrison added, They can't copy our technology, even if they steal it. They don't have the basic science to understand how it works. Walsh turned back to the group. That's both good and bad news. Good because they can't match us quickly. Bad because they might do something extreme out of fear. He straightened his uniform and looked each person in the eye. I want every ship in the fleet ready for combat within 48 hours. Upgrade all civilian shields, and get me everything we have on Meridian psychology. If we can't stop them from coming back, we need to be ready to show them exactly why picking a fight with Earth was their biggest mistake. As the meeting ended and people filed out, Walsh stayed behind, staring at the hologram of the Meridian ships. Humanity had spent centuries dreaming about first contact with aliens. Now it had happened, and instead of a peaceful exchange of knowledge, they were facing the possibility of war. At least we know we can win, he muttered to himself. Now we just have to make sure we don't lose ourselves in the process. Fleet Commander Amanda Parker stood on the bridge of humanity's newest warship, the Thunder of Terra. At 2 kilometers long, it was the biggest ship ever built by human hands. Through the massive view screen, she watched as hundreds of alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. They really did bring friends, she said quietly. Behind her, the bridge crew worked at their stations, calm but alert. Technical Officer Brian Cooper looked up from his console. Ma'am, I count 700 Meridian ships, all bigger than the ones we faced last time. Parker nodded. She had expected this. After their first defeat, the Meridians were bound to return with overwhelming force. What they didn't know was that humanity had been preparing too. Status of our fleet? She asked. 50 Earth ships in position, Cooper replied. Thunder of Terra is combat ready. All systems green. The numbers seemed bad, 50 against 700. But Parker knew better. She had seen the test results of their new weapons. The main screen lit up with an incoming transmission. They're hailing us, reported Communications Officer Mary Wilson. Put them on screen, Parker ordered. The alien face that appeared was different from the ones they'd met before. This one wore elaborate armor, its 6 eyes glowing with barely contained rage. I am Supreme Commander Proxus of the Meridian Coalition Battle Fleet, it announced. Your previous victory was impressive, but now you face the full might of our empire. Surrender your system, or we will take it by force. Parker stood straighter. This is Fleet Commander Amanda Parker of the Earth Defense Force. We've upgraded our coffee machines since your last visit. Would you like to hear about our weapons? The alien commander blinked in confusion at her calm tone. Your bravery is noted, Proxus said, but clearly foolish. You are outnumbered 14-1. Parker smiled slightly. Numbers aren't everything, Commander. Last time, 3 of our ships disabled 3 of yours. Would you like to do the math on what 50 of our ships can do? Behind her, Cooper spoke up. Ma'am, they're moving their fleet into attack formation. Very well, Parker sighed. Commander Proxus, I'll make this simple. Look at your scan readings of our flagship. Really look at them. On the alien ship, there was a moment of silence. Then several alien officers started talking at once, their voices alarmed. Impossible, Proxus said. Those energy readings. They can't be right. They're right, Parker confirmed. The Thunder of Terra carries enough firepower to disable your entire fleet. The other 49 ships are just backup. This is your last warning. Leave Earth space, or face the consequences. The alien commander's face showed a mix of emotions. You're bluffing. No species has such technology. Parker turned to Cooper. Show them a demonstration. Low power, please. We don't want to hurt anyone. Cooper pressed a few buttons. The Thunder of Terra's main weapon powered up, its quantum plasma core glowing soft blue. A thin beam shot out, passing between 2 alien ships. Where it traveled, space itself seemed to ripple. That was 0.1% power, Parker said calmly. Should I show you 1%? The alien commander's face had lost its arrogant look. How? How did you develop such weapons? We had good teachers, Parker replied. War. Necessity. Survival. Now, what's it going to be, Commander? Do we do this the easy way? Or do I have to demonstrate why they named this ship the Thunder of Terra? The alien fleet hung in space, motionless. Parker could almost feel their fear and confusion. Everything they thought they knew about humanity had been wrong. You have 1 hour to begin withdrawing your fleet, Parker added. After that, we will consider your presence an act of war. And trust me, Commander, that's not something you want. The alien commander stared for a long moment. This isn't over. Actually, Parker said, it is. You just don't know it yet. The transmission cut off. On the bridge, everyone held their breath. They're moving, Cooper reported after a few minutes. The fleet is turning around. They're withdrawing. A cheer went up from the bridge crew, but Parker raised her hand for silence. Don't celebrate yet. This was too easy. They'll be back, and next time they won't come in arrogantly expecting an easy win. Next time, they'll be ready for a real fight. She looked out at the retreating alien fleet. Humanity had won another battle without firing a real shot. But the war was just beginning. Send word to Earth Defense Command, she ordered. Tell them to start building more ships. The Meridians won't stay scared forever. And when their fear turns to desperation, that's when the real test begins. Captain Robert Mitchell watched Saturn's rings glitter in the darkness. His ship, the EDS Defender, sat hidden among the ice chunks and space rocks. 4 other Earth ships were nearby, also hidden, waiting. Contact, whispered Lieutenant Andy Baker from the sensor station. Multiple ships entering the sector. Mitchell leaned forward in his command chair. After their last retreat, the Meridians had gone quiet for 2 weeks. Now they were back, but different. What are we looking at? Mitchell asked. Smaller ships this time, sir. Hundreds of them. Fast attack vessels. Baker's fingers flew over his console. They're using some kind of stealth technology. But, he smiled, our sensors can still see them just fine. Mitchell nodded. The aliens had learned from their last defeats. Big ships didn't work, so now they were trying speed and stealth. Too bad Earth had better versions of both. All ships, maintain position, Mitchell ordered quietly. Let them get nice and close. The Meridian ships moved through Saturn's rings, their dark hulls blending with the shadows. They thought they were being sneaky. They didn't know that human quantum sensors could spot them as easily as seeing flashlights in a dark room. They're searching for the Thunder of Terra, reported Communications Officer Kate Wilson. Their communications suggest they plan to swarm it with small ships. Mitchell allowed himself a small smile. Too bad they're searching in the wrong part of the solar system. The alien ships moved closer to their position. 300 small attack craft, each one carrying weapons that could have destroyed an Earth ship from 20 years ago. But this wasn't 20 years ago. All ships, Mitchell said calmly, execute Battle Plan Delta. Now, 5 Earth ships suddenly appeared from their hiding spots in the rings. Their quantum stealth systems, far superior to the alien technology, had kept them completely invisible until now. The Meridian fleet froze in surprise. Before they could react, blue beams shot out from the Earth ships. Each beam split into dozens of smaller ones, like branches on a tree. The targeting computers, guided by AI systems the aliens couldn't match, found ship after ship after ship. Disable only, Mitchell ordered. No destruction unless absolutely necessary. The space around Saturn's rings lit up with weapons fire. The Meridian ships tried to fight back, launching missiles and energy beams. But Earth's shields absorbed everything, growing stronger with each hit. Sir, Baker called out, they're trying to scatter. Not today, Mitchell said. He pressed a button on his chair. Deploy the nets. From each Earth ship, glowing energy fields spread out like giant spider webs. The quantum plasma nets trapped the alien ships, holding them in place while disabling their engines. Enemy ships disabled. 100 and counting, Baker reported. excitement in his voice. 200, 250. In less than 5 minutes, it was over. 300 alien ships floated helplessly in space, caught in humanity's advanced technology like flies in a web. "Open a channel to their commander," Mitchell ordered. The alien face that appeared on screen looked shocked. Its dark scales had gone pale with fear. "This is Captain Robert Mitchell of the Earth Defense Force," he said clearly. "Your ships are disabled, but your crews are safe. We will provide rescue and medical aid if needed." "How?" the alien commander asked. "How did you defeat our stealth technology? How did your weapons target so many ships at once?" Mitchell stood up from his chair. "The same way we developed quantum shields and plasma weapons. We learned. We adapted. We survived. And we did it all because we had to." He looked at the alien ships caught in the energy nets. "Tell your leaders this. Earth doesn't want war. We never did. But if you force us to fight, we will win. Every time. Because that's what humans do. We find a way." The alien commander was quiet for a long moment. "The coalition, they won't accept this. They'll keep coming. Then they'll keep losing," Mitchell said simply, "until they learn that there's a better way. Now, do you need medical assistance, or can your ships handle the rescued crews?" After the rescue operations were complete and the alien fleet was escorted out of the solar system, Mitchell wrote in his log, "Another battle won without losing a single life on either side. But the war isn't over. The Meridians are learning, adapting. Next time they'll try something else, and we'll be ready for that too. Because that's what humanity does best. We stay one step ahead." He looked out at Saturn's rings, now peaceful again. "They'll be back," he muttered. "But maybe next time they'll be ready to talk instead of fight. And if not," he smiled, "well, we've got plenty more surprises for them." Ambassador Lisa Martinez stood in the grand meeting hall of the neutral space station Alpha, watching alien diplomats from 20 different species enter the room. The massive space station, built by a long-dead race, served as neutral ground for galactic meetings. "They're all here to talk about us," Lieutenant James Wilson whispered beside her. His job was security, but he was also one of Earth's best at reading alien body language. "And they're scared." Martinez nodded slightly. News of Earth's victories over the Meridian Coalition had spread fast through the galaxy. 3 battles, 3 human victories, each more one-sided than the last. The alien diplomats took their seats around the huge, circular table. Some had scales, others fur. A few were even made of crystal. But they all stared at Martinez with the same look, worry mixed with curiosity. An alien with blue feathers stood up first. "I am Speaker Brightwing of the Star Federation," it announced. "We have called this meeting to discuss the situation with Earth." Martinez stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Lisa Martinez of Earth. We appreciate this chance to speak with all of you." "Is it true?" asked a crystal being, its voice chiming like bells. "Did 5 of your ships defeat 300 Meridian vessels?" "Yes," Martinez said simply, though defeat might be the wrong word. "We disabled their ships without destroying them or harming their crews." The room filled with whispers. A reptilian alien leaned forward. "The Meridians have ruled this sector for 500 years. Their technology was the most advanced we knew. How did humans surpass them so quickly?" Martinez touched a control on her wrist. A hologram appeared above the table, showing Earth. "My people learned the hard way that technology isn't just about time," she explained. "It's about necessity. 20 years ago, we nearly destroyed ourselves fighting over resources. To survive, we had to develop new technology. Better technology. When we looked to the stars, we decided to keep improving, to make sure we could protect ourselves." "And now," asked another alien, "will Earth become the new Meridians? Will you rule through force?" Martinez shook her head. "No. Earth wants trade, cultural exchange, friendship. We developed our technology for defense, not conquest." Suddenly, Wilson stepped forward. Ambassador, urgent message from Earth Defense Command. Martinez read the message on her tablet and her face hardened. It seems, she said to the gathered aliens, that the Meridian Coalition is splitting apart. 3 of their colony worlds have declared independence in the last hour. The room erupted in chaos. The Meridian representative, who had been quiet until now, jumped up. This is Earth's fault. Your ships, your weapons, you've destroyed 5 centuries of order. No, Martinez said firmly. You did that yourselves. Your empire was built on fear and force. Once your people saw that someone could stand up to you and win, the fear was gone. She looked around the room. Earth doesn't want to rule anyone. We don't want an empire. We want partners, friends, allies, any world that wants to trade with us, learn from us, or teach us. Our doors are open. One by one, the alien diplomats began to nod. The crystal being chimed again. Perhaps it is time for a new way. The Meridians ruled through fear. But Earth offers friendship while holding the strongest weapons we've ever seen. Wilson watched as more aliens started talking about trade deals and diplomatic relations. He leaned close to Martinez. Think they mean it, he whispered. Or are they just scared of our ships? Martinez smiled slightly. Both, but that's okay. Fear got their attention. Now we can show them something better. She touched her tablet, sending out dozens of trade and cultural exchange proposals that Earth had prepared. As the aliens began reading the offers, Martinez looked out the station's window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Meridian Coalition was falling apart. Change was coming to the galaxy, ready or not. We didn't want any of this, she said quietly to Wilson. We just wanted to explore space and make friends. But sometimes being strong isn't about winning fights. It's about being strong enough to stop them before they start. And if the fighting doesn't stop? Wilson asked. Martinez watched as more diplomats approached her with signed agreements. Then we'll do what humans have always done. We'll find a way to win. And then we'll try to make peace again. Because that's the real strength of humanity. We never stop trying to make things better. Commander Emily Foster stared at the tactical display in Earth's main defense center. Red dots appeared everywhere, showing thousands of Meridian ships jumping into the solar system. The remaining loyal worlds of the coalition had gathered every ship they had for one final desperate attack. They're not even trying to talk this time, said Security Chief David Thompson, his face grim. Just charging straight in. Foster nodded. The collapse of their empire had pushed the Meridians over the edge. How many ships? 3,000, Thompson replied. Every combat-capable vessel in their remaining territory. Plus, he paused, checking new data. We're detecting something strange. Some of their ships are giving off energy readings we've never seen before. Foster pressed the general alarm. Across Earth and its colonies, defense systems powered up. In orbit, 200 Earth ships moved into position, led by the Thunder of Terra. Security breach. A voice suddenly called out. We have intruders in Defense Command. Thompson rushed to his console. Camera feeds showed alien soldiers appearing inside the building, using some kind of new teleport technology. Clever, Foster said. Actually impressed. They finally figured out they couldn't be our ships, so they're trying to take out our command center directly. Thompson pulled his weapon. I'll handle the intruders. No, Foster said. That's exactly what they want. They're trying to distract us from the real battle. She touched her comm unit. All security teams, execute Protocol Omega. Throughout the building, hidden panels opened in the walls. Small drones emerged, filling the air with a fine mist. The alien soldiers suddenly found their teleport devices dead, their weapons powerless. Did they really think, Foster asked with a small smile, that after all this time, we wouldn't have prepared for every possible attack? Outside, the Meridian fleet split into attack groups. Their new weapons fired, sending strange purple-green beams toward Earth. They've modified their weapons, reported Technical Officer Jack Peters. They're trying to match our quantum technology. But, he laughed, it's like watching someone try to copy a car by looking at its shadow. They've got the basic shape right, but nothing else. Foster watched as the alien beams hit Earth's defense shields. Instead of being absorbed like usual, the energy scattered, creating beautiful patterns in space. Their fake quantum weapons are actually less effective than their old ones, Peters said. Our shields don't even recognize them as weapons. It's like throwing rocks at a force field. Foster didn't smile. She knew what came next. Send the order, she said quietly. It's time to end this. Earth's ships moved forward as one. The thunder of Terra led the way, its massive quantum cannons glowing blue. Behind it, the rest of the fleet spread out in a pattern that looked random but was actually calculated down to the millimeter. Mass teleport attempt detected, Thompson called out. They're trying to send soldiers directly onto our ships. Let them, Foster said calmly. All across Earth's fleet, alien soldiers appeared on the ships and immediately fell unconscious. The artificial gravity had been set to exactly the right level to knock out their species, but leave humans unaffected. In Defense Command, Thompson finished securing the last of the alien intruders. None had been killed, just captured. Ma'am, he said, I think they just used every trick they had. Foster nodded. And now it's our turn. All ships, activate the pulse. Blue energy flowed between Earth's ships, connecting them in a vast web. The energy built up, growing brighter and brighter. The Meridian fleet, seeing something big coming, tried to retreat. Too late, Foster whispered. The pulse fired. A wave of quantum energy swept out from Earth's fleet. As it passed through the Meridian ships, their engines shut down. Their weapons went dead. Even their life support switched to emergency backup. In 5 minutes, it was over. 3,000 alien ships floated helpless in space. Open a channel to their flagship, Foster ordered. The alien commander who appeared on screen looked broken. Behind him, his bridge was lit only by emergency lights. Listen carefully, Foster said. Every ship in your fleet is disabled, but you're alive. Your crews are alive. We could have destroyed you, but that's not who we are. She paused. This war is over, not because we won, but because it never had to happen in the first place. We're sending rescue ships. And when you're ready to talk peace, Earth will be waiting. As the transmission ended, Thompson came to stand beside her. Think they'll finally get the message. Foster looked at the tactical display, now showing thousands of disabled but intact alien ships. They have to. Because if they don't learn to live in peace, she gestured at their fleet. We'll keep showing them just how far behind they really are. Admiral Jessica Reynolds stood at the window of the newly built Galactic Council chamber on Earth. 1 year had passed since the final battle with the Meridian Coalition. The view before her would have seemed impossible just months ago. Ships from 20 different alien species moved peacefully through Earth's orbit, their designs as varied as their cultures. Still hard to believe, isn't it? Admiral Thomas Walsh said, joining her at the window. A year ago, they were either trying to conquer us or hiding from us. Now they're here for trade agreements and technology sharing. Reynolds smiled. She had come a long way from that first contact battle near Jupiter. Now she led the newly formed Galactic Defense Initiative, a peacekeeping force made up of ships from Earth and its new allies. The last Meridian holdout world signed the peace treaty this morning, she said. They're even sending students to study at Earth universities. Inside the chamber, representatives from across the galaxy gathered for the first official meeting of the new Galactic Council. The room had been designed to make all species comfortable. Environmental bubbles for methane breathers, gravity adjustments for heavy worlders, and translation devices for everyone. Ambassador Lisa Martinez took her place at the main podium. The same aliens who had once feared Earth's power now looked to her with respect. 1 year ago, Martinez began. Our galaxy stood on the brink of war. Today we meet as equals, as partners, as friends. She gestured to the huge display behind her, showing trade routes between worlds. Earth's quantum technology has already helped 15 worlds solve their energy crisis. In return, we've learned new ways of thinking, new forms of art, new philosophies. Technical Officer Brian Cooper, now head of the Technology Sharing Program, stood up next. The key was finding the right balance, he explained. We share clean energy tech, medical advances, and environmental restoration methods freely. Military technology is shared only with worlds that sign the peace accords. In the back of the room, Security Chief David Thompson watched the proceedings carefully. Old habits died hard, but even he had to admit that the peace seemed real. His security teams now spent more time helping coordinate disaster relief than watching for threats. Breaking news from the Science Division, announced Dr. Rachel Turner, appearing on the main screen. The combined research team has just made a breakthrough. Human quantum physics combined with Centaurian crystal tech and Rigelian energy patterns has opened up a whole new field of study. We might have faster-than-light communication within the year. The chamber erupted in excited conversation. Reynolds watched as former enemies discussed future projects together, their old fears forgotten in the excitement of discovery. A small alien child, part of the new cultural exchange program, tugged at Reynolds' uniform. Is it true? The child asked through its translator. Did humans really beat the whole Meridian fleet without destroying any ships? Reynolds knelt down to the child's level. We did, but that wasn't our greatest victory. She pointed around the room. This is turning enemies into friends, fear into hope. That's the real strength of humanity. Walsh cleared his throat. Speaking of strength, the first joint species ships are ready for launch next week. Earth designs with alien innovations added. Even the Meridians contributed some ideas. Perfect timing, Martine said, joining them. The exploration teams have found signals from the other side of the galaxy. Signs of other civilizations, maybe even another coalition of worlds. And if they're hostile? Thompson asked. Ever the security chief. Reynolds looked out at the mixed fleet of ships in orbit. Earth vessels flying alongside alien craft, former enemies working together to patrol trade routes and respond to distress calls. Then we'll do what we always do, she said. Try to make peace first. But if they force us to fight, she smiled. Well, now they won't just be facing Earth. They'll be facing the United Galaxy. As the council meeting continued, Reynolds thought about that first battle, how far they'd come since then. Humanity had proved itself the strongest military power in known space, but their real victory wasn't in winning battles, it was in knowing when to stop fighting. The stars are waiting, she said quietly. And this time, we're going out there together. The alien child looked up at her with all four of its eyes. Will you tell me the story of the first battle again? The one where you learned humans were stronger than anyone thought. Reynolds smiled. I'll tell you an even better story, she said. The one about how being strong enough to win a war made us strong enough to make peace instead.